Now at 5, a sheriff's deputy shoots a man in northeast Portland. What we are hearing from witnesses about the moments before they pulled the trigger. Plus, a legal nonprofit challenges what it calls a systemic deportation tactic by the Trump administration.
Part of the reason they're doing this is to discourage people from going to court.
But before that, we are taking a closer look at this weekend's weather as we could see potentially record highs. And let's get right to meteorologist Joe Ranieri to tell us more about this weekend's weather impact alert. Joe, it's already warm out there today, so just how hot will it get over the next couple of days?
Stephanie, this is nothing. We're looking at temperatures in the mid to the upper 80s. Another 24 hours from now, we're going to be looking at temperatures in the mid to the upper 90s. Let's go out to downtown Portland right now from our Pioneer Park building camera. Temperature of 85 degrees. This can be relatively comfortable because I'm forecasting daytime highs tomorrow flirting with 100 degrees. That's why we have that weather impact alert that's going to be in effect for the weekend. So tomorrow through Monday, high afternoon heat risk both for Sunday and into Monday. Make sure you stay hydrated and don't overexert yourself. Try to make some outdoor plans earlier than later heading into tomorrow especially. We could be looking at our first 90-degree day starting tomorrow, and then current records looking into tomorrow. I'm forecasting a high tomorrow of 97. The record is 94. Monday it's going to be a little bit cooler, but temperatures will be right around that 94, 95 degree range. So definitely looking at some heat. And here's a look at some of the warm temperatures out there right now. PDX is at 85 degrees. A lot of locations are looking at temperatures close to 90 degrees throughout the metro area. And again, we have some warm temperatures moving through the next couple of days, thanks in part to this ridge of high pressure that's in place. And along with the heat, we're also going to be having a heat advisory take place throughout much of the metro area and up and down the I-5 corridor, even through parts of southern Oregon. The hot spots, Stephanie, are going to be throughout the Columbia River Gorge, where near the Dalles tomorrow, you could be looking at daytime highs anywhere from 102 to 105 degrees. So lots of records potentially could be breaking over the next couple of days. But coming up in my detailed forecast, I'll talk more about when we'll be seeing some cooler temperatures move through.
Wow, hot temperatures tomorrow for sure, Joe. Thank you so much. Well, the mix of higher temperatures and dry conditions is raising the risk of wildfires. That's why Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue enacted a temporary burn ban this morning. That means backyard and agricultural burning is prohibited, as well as any other kind of controlled burning. Now, cooking fires and grills are still okay, but do be mindful of keeping them away from vegetation. A man is in the hospital after he was shot by Multnomah County Sheriff's deputy yesterday afternoon. The man was accused of firing a gun in the street, and then the deputy says he pointed a gun at officers before the deputy fired. Our Celine Stevens talked to Northeast Portland neighbors to see how this all unfolded.
Early Friday evening, the Portland Police Bureau responded to a call of a disturbance on Northeast 116th Avenue, south of Sandy, around 3:45. The call was in regard to two men fighting.
When officers arrived, they located one man who they believed was involved based on the description from the caller.
Sergeant Kevin Allen with PPB says the other person was not found, and the one man they did detain was then released. But then another call came in.
Closer to 15 minutes later, Portland police officers were dispatched to another call in the same block where they were told that a neighbor was out in the street, was threatening neighbors, had a gun, and was firing shots.
PPB says a Multnomah County Sheriff's deputy was in the area when this occurred and responded to the scene as well.
During the course of the call came out that shots were fired by the police and a suspect was down. The suspect pointed that firearm at officers during the encounter.
You can see in this video the suspect walking across the street toward officers before shots ring out. We paused the video right before impact.
I heard one gunshot. It was loud, but it's normal for around this area.
I hear a little noise. It's not usual traffic here, and that's why I'm curious to go out and see what's going on there.
While details are still blurry, PBB says a neighbor in the area also had a gun, but they're cooperating with the investigation and have not been arrested.
There was a neighbor that also had a gun and fired shots, so there was perhaps an exchange of gunfire between the suspect and this neighbor.
You can also see in the video the suspect toss out what appears to be the handgun once he was shot. Some who live in the area say this kind of thing isn't rare.
I mean, it's not abnormal. Like, it's sketchy. Like, my son goes to school here, and I don't want him walking to school or walking home. It's scary.
Now, Portland Police Homicide and the East County Major Crimes Team are investigating the shooting.
The nature of the suspicious circumstances is part of our investigation.
That suspect was taken to the hospital with serious injuries.
We don't believe that the initial call was related to the neighbor that fired shots. I don't know if we've identified that person from the initial call from when it was 3:45.
That was Celine Stevens reporting for us. New tonight, an investigator is looking into what caused a fire at an apartment building in Washington County. Now, this happened just before 3:30 this morning on Northwest Chemedica Lane off Northwest 158th Avenue. Firefighters arrived to find heavy fire outside that was spreading into the building. They got it under control within 30 minutes, but the fire damaged 3 apartment units. At least 10 people have been displaced. Portland police are investigating an assault near a bar that nearly killed a man. Officers were called just after 9 last night to the area of Northeast 122nd Avenue and Broadway. The police bureau says a man was taken to the hospital with potentially life-threatening injuries and had to be resuscitated. The suspect had left the scene and has not been found. Oregon's Department of Human Services is asking the public for help finding these 3 brothers. Julian, Silas, and Trenton Yellowtail went missing late May from Portland. Officials believe they could be in danger. They're known to frequent Lentz Park, the 205 bike path, and downtown Portland. If you see them or know where they could be, you're asked to call the Child Abuse Hotline at the number you see here on your screen. That's 1-855-503-SAFE-7233. Newly filed court documents reveal more about the case of a 24-year-old transgender woman from Mexico who was arrested by ICE agents earlier this week, moments after an immigration hearing in Portland. Lawyers from a nonprofit group advocating on her behalf say Homeland Security officials misrepresented their intentions during an asylum hearing Monday. By the attorney's account, she agreed to the dismissal of her asylum case after a judge told her she wouldn't be removed from the country if she did. The woman was detained by ICE agents moments later. Meanwhile, we have learned a second person, a 24-year-old man from Newport, was detained in a nearly identical manner on Thursday at the same immigration court. Innovation Law Lab says the man fled Mexico following death threats from a cartel and had been complying with ICE check-ins. He had no criminal history and even had a work authorization. Lawyers say his pending asylum application was also dismissed.
So we ask immigrants to comply with these really complicated steps in an unfamiliar place, in an unfamiliar language, in a new legal system, and the government should have to abide at least by those very same rules that it asks others to comply with.
Homeland Security argues these types of detentions are lawful. The transgender woman is reported to be at the ICE facility in Tacoma. ICE says she will be given a credible fear interview where she can make her case for asylum. Right now, we don't know where the Newport man is being held. Well, a few hours ago, this was the scene in Portland as a cherished highlight of the Rose Festival returned to this part of town. For more than 117 years, the Rose Festival's Grand Floral Parade has been a celebrated event. Our John Adams was there. He joins us now in the studio. And John, what a lovely day for a parade.
Beautiful day for a parade, Stephanie, and it looked a little different. As you said, it returned to downtown Portland after years on Portland's east side, but it was all smiles out there today for those young and old. The streets of downtown Portland were jam-packed Saturday morning as spectators of all ages were treated to marching bands, floats, and fun at the Grand Floral Parade.
This is as perfect as it can get.
Paula Rennells has made this a family tradition for close to 30 years. This year, she is here with her great-grandkids.
The sun, the parade, watching the kids have fun, just everything. It's just a happy affair.
Jeffrey Young has been attending the Grand Floral for 45 years. This is what keeps him coming back.
Seeing the floats and spending time with family and maybe getting some cotton candy.
For some, snagging a prime spot means getting here early.
About 5:30, yeah.
A small price to pay to pass the magic of the parade on to the younger generations.
So I've been coming since I was a kid, and my family's always put just the best family experience of the Rose Parade for me my whole life. So now I get to do that for my nephew, my friends' kids.
Hopefully the next generation, our kids, are able to continue and they're interested in it still as they get older.
For well over 100 years, the Grand Floral has kept generations of Portlanders enthralled. and shows no signs of slowing down.
And when you get older in age, you think about how many years you have left and how much fun you can have. So I just look forward to more fun.
In downtown Portland, John Adams, KGW News.
Oh, looks like a great time out there. Well, it is a Chinese tradition that's been part of the Rose Festival for more than 2 decades. Along the Willamette earlier, it was day 1 of the Dragon Boat races. This year, more than 60 different teams, local, national, and international, competed in 4 team heats held every 9 minutes. We caught up with one of today's winning teams.
Weather's great. We're ready to race today. We've been practicing for 10 weeks. I've got an awesome crew, and I think we're going to win. KP time! Ha!
Well, they certainly got the energy. I love that. If you missed it today, don't worry. The free event runs through 5 p.m. tomorrow. It's back on the Willamette River near the Hawthorne Bridge if you want to take a look.